r/AskMen. Men with trust issues. Have you stopped dating a girl you really liked that you felt was too attractive for you because of the attention she gets, and then gone back to dating less attractive people because you found them easier to trust? Why? Since no one has a real answer, I guess I'll give it a shot. So I have had my fair share of trust issues, mainly because of my childhood, insecurities, and just general knowledge of how men are in society. I would consider myself good looking, but obviously not perfect in any way, shape or form. Most of my girlfriends were attractive in some type of way. To answer this question, I guess this is what I'm going to point out. Obviously dating a girl who has a nice body or is very attractive is going to make a man with issues like mine more uncomfortable when put in a setting where other males are present due to the fact of her getting more attention. It's natural, but even if I were, I'm going to use myself as an example. To date a woman less attractive, I would still feel some sort of degree of jealousy or overprotectiveness. So what I'm trying to point out is at the end of day it really has nothing to do with the variable, women. But it has everything to do with the source, me. I have come a long way from being who I used to be by progressive self-improvement and self-love, and this prepares me to date anyone, no matter how they look. So in contrast, essentially a man who has to date a woman less attractive to feel secure will always have some type of degree of the same feeling. So the trick is to work on /eliminate/ be comfortable with the feeling altogether, so you can date who you want, and not to worry so much about the attractiveness of your women. And be grateful she is the one coming back only to you. I was at one time allowing myself to date a girl. She was beautiful, funny, smart, always trying to laugh and smile, but also always seemed to want to make me do the same. We met at work, but she quit after a month or two. She still wanted to see me outside of work though. We would see each other a couple times a week, just to chat and hang out. This went on for about 3 or 4 months. She eventually started wanting to go places together. I even felt like buying her things sometimes. One day she got a new place and needed some bedding. I offered to help. She was my friend after all. Well, after helping her pick stuff out and make the purchases, we take them back to her place. I eventually realized she wasn't just looking for new bedding. She invites me to try out the new bed and see how soft it is. My trust issues kick in, and my brain feels like it's on fire and my body is under attack. I say I have to go and leave. She sighs out of disappointment/exasperation. Could have been either. As I'm walking to the door, I stop going to the places we see each other at, stop calling her, etc. I still don't know why I did this, especially since I know/knew I loved her. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hope you are living well, Hatchet Johnson. I have done exact this my whole life. I spent years with a clinical psychologist, and I still do it. I was abandoned by my biological mother before age 1. I went through many foster homes. Some good, some bad. I was adopted at the age of 2 to 3. My adoptive mother died of brain cancer when I was 8. Thanks for asking this question. It feels good to actually talk about this issue for once. I had a girlfriend in high school whom I dated for about 4 years. She was very attractive and one of the girls that guys would wanna date or just be around cause she just spread happiness. It was the first time that either of us was in a relationship for the long run. We were the best of friends and were basically inseparable. Most high school relationships are just an infatuation, but this was different. One thing that would really bothered me was that one of my friends had told me early on in the relationship that the girl was too good for me and would leave me the first chance she got to date someone higher in the social hierarchy. This got stuck in my head and is pretty much the reason my insecurities started. Any male attention that she got would just make me feel like I was going to be dumped that very second. The fact that we were in a long distance for the second half of our relationship didn't help at all. Eventually, one day I just told her that it was not going to work out and that she should find someone who could be there for her emotionally. I didn't want to break things off, but I couldn't stand the thought of her breaking up with me, so I did the exact thing I dreaded to her. I've regretted that since the moment I got home that day. Every girl I've dated since just hasn't been able to connect with me emotionally and has broken up with me for this exact reason. Last I heard, she also hadn't moved on and was desperately trying to. This was just one huge mistake. It wasn't just that she was too attractive for me. It was because I just wasn't a good person for her. I was insecure with myself and also pretty lustful. I loved her dearly, but feared that later down the road, like when we were in college, I'd start wandering. At the same time I recognized she'd be the more likely person to wander, because she'd have more of a right to and more opportunities. I was just a bad person for her period, and I recognized that. I figured breaking up with her and pushing her away was the best thing I could do for her, so I could maintain a good honorable image of myself in her mind and do the right thing, or as best of a thing as I could. What it all comes down to is that I'm a loser where the only thing worthy of offering is my absence. You might say that I'm just a coward who is afraid of taking the responsibility of changing himself, but the fact is that I've never accomplished anything to give me the confidence needed to actually make that change, and I did try. I tried hard as fuck. She was too good of a person to take that type of risk on a guy like me. I couldn't let her do that. You denied her agency by making a choice for her when it should have been up to her to decide for herself what she wanted and what would be best for her. I'm not saying you shouldn't have broken up, but the idea of pushing someone away for their own good means that you don't think they are responsible enough to make adult decisions for themselves. A better alternative would have been to have an open and honest discussion about how you felt, and then come to a decision together while respecting each other's agency. That wasn't entirely possible, because at the time I wasn't totally aware of the exactly why I was breaking up with her. I just had many more good reasons to break up than bad ones. Besides, I had broken up with her 2 times before the last time I made it stick. It was the most difficult thing I had managed to do. I don't think many people can really appreciate how difficult it is to stop yourself from calling someone and asking them back when you know they will likely say yes. It's fucked me up pretty good. No. You gotta be secure in your relationship and trust the person. If you can't trust them, then you shouldn't be with them regardless of their looks. I dated a girl who was really conventionally attractive and did up my social status in my friend group. It was weird. I ended things with her despite this benefit, partly because her personality wasn't that interesting, partly for other reasons. But she was used to getting attention, was a good person, and she was crazy about me, so I never worried at all. Conversely, there was another girl I dated after college who jerked me around for a while before cutting bait, and she was definitely dating around. Wouldn't have trusted her any further than I could throw her. When I ended things, my girl roommate said she didn't think that girl was very good looking to begin with. So really, the looks part doesn't matter at all. It's more about how they respect you and whether they flirt with other people or that sort of thing.